Hello everyone. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a ice cube machine or an ice cube machine, an ice maker, whatever you want to call it. So to give you a quick rundown, this machine will make a 9 by 7 by 13 block of ice, and that is equivalent to 819 ice blocks. So this isn't the complete, I'd have to dig down more to actually make room for how deep down this can go. But it's, if you count the block right here, it's 13 blocks straight down. To get an equivalent number of ice cubes, or at least close, you would need an area like this of flat ground. Normally, the ways I've seen so far to make ice and to harvest ice is to have like a row of pistons on this side, a row of pistons on this side, have the ice flow, or the water, pistons open up, water flows, and it turns, comes all the way out to here, solid water, and then it freezes. So the problem with that is if you want a lot of ice, so as you can see, that is a really big area, whereas this, it's going to be all compact into one. The other problem with this method is you have to wait until all the ice freezes in order to reset this. So when this gets filled with water, the ice will start freezing at the edges and work its way back towards the center over here. Um, so you have to wait until, I mean, you'll get random ice chunks. This might be water, so you can definitely harvest this if you want, but now this water is going to get all messed up, and you'd have to either get rid of the water or, like I said, wait until this whole thing is filled with ice. Then you can press the pistons, it'll fill this back up. So this, though, you can harvest it whenever. If there's ice in here, you can harvest it. You can even harvest, you can go all the way out to this block and harvest it. So, yeah, okay. And I guess without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so to demonstrate quickly how this works before we start, there is a water block right there. That's an infinite spring, so there's a water block here, a water source block here, and then they connect to make an infinite spring. That water freezes. There is a bud switch underneath. When that freezes, actually there's a bud switch right there, but when it freezes, the piston underneath pushes it straight up. This piston pushes it out along this path. There is a bud switch right here, so we can show how this works. So let's say we're right towards the end here. We get there, that bud switch activates and causes this row of pistons to push out. Once this row, top row, gets to this piston, this is another bud switch, it will trigger this whole top grid here to push all of these pistons down, which will push all the ice down. And that's the basic concept. So let's get started here. Okay, so you're going to want to start with an area like this. This is where you are going to be creating your infinite water source here. So you'd put a source block right there, you'd put a source block here, and it creates that. You will want to cover this, at least these two blocks, there we go, because you don't want these two to freeze, you just want this one to freeze. All right, like that. There we go, it froze. So we'll leave it frozen for now, because then it won't spill everywhere. So now we need a update detector, so a bud switch basically. And what we're gonna do is put the bud switch right here. So this piston's gonna sense that when this water turns to, oops, sorry about that. When this water turns to ice, and will set off all these other pistons. So likewise, this one you're gonna want, there we go, as a piston right here, because that's going to push that one out. And just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to actually remove these this water blocks. There we go. And let's put the piston back. Okay. Because underneath here, you want to dig down one and put a piston underneath. These are all regular pistons too, by the way. Alright. Let's just put the ice back there. Okay. Okay, I actually lied. This is going to be a sticky piston, but this one and the one below are not sticky pistons. So to make the bud switch, we are going to take one sticky piston there. We are going to put a redstone torch right in front of it, down one block. And then we can cover that torch with another block. And then coming out, we are putting a redstone repeater. There we go. And then run the wire over here. And actually, we're going to run the wire up here. There we go, and here and here. And that's it. That is the bud switch, and I'll show you how it works right now. So you got this. There we go. Bud switch. That's exactly what we want. Now, what we want to do is hook. We need to be able to hook this signal up to these pistons and tell the bottom one to push up and then the top one to push out. So that's the next step there, and we're going to want to open that up. This is where we're going to pull our signal from, is this this block actually is what's going to give us a signal here. Okay, so we are going to then leave that spot open, or you can close it. It doesn't really matter. I just leave it open. And then we're going to put a redstone repeater right here, and we're just going to power it. Okay? And then, right here, we'll put some redstone dust. So when this piston activates, see that? For a second there, it lit up. Okay, that's what we're going to use. So there is a piston right there that pushes up. So we are going to run this signal down and over. Now this, when this turns on, it will power this piston. So as you can see, you'll see this block come up. There we go. It came up. Okay, we also want to send power to this guy right here. So let me close that back off. This is going to be a water source block, so you want to keep that closed. Okay, and then we are going to take this signal and send it up. So we want a redstone repeater. This is going to add a delay. So because you don't want this to push out at the same time that that's pushing up, it'll cause problems. So we put a repeater here, it'll be a 1 tick delay, and then just send the power up to it. Okay, let's test this out. Let's replace this with water, that with water. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Oh, that was quick. Okay, oh shoot. Okay, so there is a reason why you need to cover your water source blocks. All right, there we go. Now that this part is done, and it's going to extend a couple times like that because of the fact that this block freezes, so that causes an update. Then this pushes another block out, which causes another update because you're putting a block on top of this. So no big deal. It doesn't really matter. It just goes off 2 or 3 times. So if you don't want to, like right there, you saw it go off 3 times, I believe it was. Let's just put this down there. Yes, 3 times. If you set this off 1 tick like that, I believe it'll only go off twice, if that's something that bothers you. Yep, there we go. It only goes off twice now. Okay, so the next part here, we're going to make the row of pistons that pushes the blocks that away. So this row is going to start right after this redstone dust here. And I'm just going to make it a little higher here. So the pistons, this block will be the pistons. Right here. There we go. And we want a row of, how many do I have there? I think 9. So we got 1, 2, 3, 9. Okay. Let me just take a look here. Oh yes, okay, this is set back 1. Alright, you don't need that anymore. And then at this end spot right here, we need another bud switch. So we are going to actually put that bud switch. So we have a sticky piston. This is just a temporary. You can actually do this. And then we're going to have a sticky piston right here, pointed down. There we go. All right, and then you want to dig down another block. I'm just going to clear out some area here. Okay, so the sticky piston will also have a block. And you want a 1 gap there, and you're going to have another redstone torch there. Put a block there. Let's clear out another path here. Okay. And then we're going to have redstone dust coming up there into a repeater, which goes into a block, dust, block. And then right here we have a regular piston. This is just a different kind of bud switch. Okay, and then we have another repeater. There we go. Okay, and then the last step is to add a block right next to it. And then bring this up one and put a redstone torch right there. Okay, and as you can see, it just worked. So when the ice blocks get all the way down to the end here, it'll reach this. This will go off. And we are going to take the signal from here, right here, we're going to take it up, and we'll run it to all of these pistons to actually extend out. Okay, so we're going to clear off this and this. We have another redstone dust here, repeater there, and then that, and oops, we want to put, there we go, right here, and then make a little stairway up, and then down the full length. There we go. And then run redstone up it. So you got it up here, here, and then across the whole thing. Okay, so that redstone repeater sends power to this block, and that block, since it has power, will light up this redstone dust, and it'll send straight that way. So as you can see now, let's put the block here. It should come out at us. There we go. Perfect. As you can see, we're getting a little block here already. So the other reason why I only made it this long and I didn't put 2 more pistons here is because of this redstone wiring. I didn't really feel like finding a different way to wire this, so I just stopped the pistons. If I put another piston, I guess I could put a piston right here if I wanted to, but I'm happy with the way it is. So if you want to, you can add another piston like right here, and you would just have to, send power to this from above. So let's see. Oh, now I made a, oh no, that's what we want. Okay, so you would just do it like this. There we go. Now it should push out over there. This will give you even more. There we go. Yep. It'll give you even more ice cubes, which I think are really unnecessary, but oops. What am I doing? Okay, so the next part we'll work on is the top. Oh, of course. There we go. We'll work on the top grid of pistons here. Right. So I leave 1 space, and then I start the piston. So, oop. Yeah, sure. Oops. I'm really screwing up here. Ugh. Okay. So, you want your pistons to be like this. Straight upside down. And I did the full length, of course. So we have, how many pistons here? 9. And then I did mine 7 long here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and of course they're up the wrong way. There we go. I did mine that long, and then you fill this in. In total, this will cost you 63 pistons. So that is why I chose this dimension, is because it's 1 short less than 1 stack. It is a lot of pistons, so I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of pistons here, here. So this is roughly 1 stack of pistons, but like I said, you can put 1 more piston here, and you can definitely add about, well, this is 7 long. You can take this out to 12 long if you want. So if you want to make this as big as possible, you would add one here, and instead of 7 long like this, you would make it 12 long, and that would give you about double the amount of ice. So my system will give you 819 ice blocks. If you extend it, as I just said, it'll give you 1,560 blocks. Whoops. So that's up to you. Total personal preference there. It's also going to cost a lot more pistons. So if you're just loaded with iron, you know, no big deal. Okay, wiring is very simple. Since you can't put wire on top, you're going to put grass on top of the whole thing. Well, grass or whatever block you want. I guess I'll use these. All right, once you get it covered, just put redstone dust along on every block. I know when you run redstone, you can power. You don't really need it on every block because some blocks power other pistons. But in my testing, I found out that sometimes it glitches out. So just to be safe, you can just put, you know, the whole thing. So that's 63 redstone, 63 blocks, whatever you're putting it on. Nice numbers, almost a full stack. All right, and now we are going to create the bud switch for the end, because when this fills up, you want all these to push down, of course. So we are going to actually copy this design right here, and we're going to put it, so we want our sticky piston to go, yep, like this. All right. And we are going to do the same thing before. 1 block down, torch, block on the sticky piston right there. We need to extend this out. Right here is going to be a regular piston. Then we have 2 blocks here because we have dust, repeater, dust, repeater. Right in the middle, we are going to have another block there. Redstone repeater. There we go. Or not a redstone repeater, a redstone torch. All right. And then what we're going to do is, once again, take this signal and loop it back up to the top. All right, so we're going to open this up. Add a redstone dust there, a repeater there, and then put a, dust right there. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to run it kind of up here and then over. Because it's so tall, we can't do a nice step up like this. So we have to, as you can see, you have to kind of wind it up that way. So, no problem, we just bring it up. Let's put another thing there. Redstone, redstone. And we're coming up this way. Actually, we're going to bring it up again. And let's see, is that how I did it here? I believe so. Don't need that. And redstone, and then a repeater. Now this repeater will power this block, which powers this redstone and every other redstone connected to it. Alright, and now we can test out our contraption. So, as you can see, it has been working since we've been here. Let's say we get to here. Alright, it pushes the block out. Let's say we get to the end. It should push all these blocks down. There we go. Boom. Push the blocks down. Oops. This block was right at the pistons there. Alright, and then you just basically dig a hole. You need to have open space, because if there's solid ground here, if the ice gets like this, you're not going to be making any more ice. So you would dig a hole down from this block. Counting this block, you're going to go down 13. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and you go all the way down to 13. You could actually go even a little lower if you want to be able to walk under this ice. And that's it. Now you just let it, go through, and you can start harvesting. One quick thing, one benefit of this device is it can actually be totally built underground. Under one exception, you need one hole going up to the surface. So let's say this whole farm was underground, but you need to dig up a hole to the surface, and then this would be your water block. So as you can see, this one's already frozen. So it doesn't matter, as long as you're in a snowy biome, it doesn't matter how tall this is, that block will freeze. So you could be 64 blocks, let's say, underground. As long as you have an opening like this up to the surface, that block will freeze and you will be making ice underground, which is really awesome. So, thanks for watching. If you have any improvements to this, maybe if you can shorten up this redstone, leave me a comment, and yeah, that'll be about it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take it easy.